Hey ladies, okay, now I'm going to do a slightly different kind of video today. This one is going to go through 4 of the basic challenges or weekly programs that we've been running and go through how it applies to you. So some people have said, oh, how does it apply? Brendan, why are you always talking to women? Why don't you talk to dads and other people? And there's some really simple and deep reasons for that I want to help to convey. When I did my developmental psychology units, we looked at child development, obviously, as the name would suggest, and risk and protective factors for children. And in terms of risk factors, you guys will know the risk factors for kids, but the one most powerful protective factor that we can directly impact is maternal education level. So mother's education level was one of the #1 protective factors for your kids. So one of the things that I find immensely rewarding about working with women, in particular mums, is that you guys would do just about anything for your kids. Sometimes anything that you won't do for your kids, the one thing that you won't do is to put your own needs first, and that's my challenge to you, is to spend a little bit of time and invest a little bit in yourself so that you can look after and be all the things that you need to be to other people. So that's the one reason why I talk particularly to you mums, is because your role, your station in life. One lady this week was saying, oh Brendan, that's quite a burden, and she said, well, it's a burden and it's also a gift. So I think for me the emphasis is certainly on it's a gift and it's a real blessing, and it's a job that no one else in this world can do other than a mum, and that is to be charged with the gift of being able to raise our future generations. So that is one of the core reasons why I do what I do, and one of the core reasons why I work with mums in particular, is because you guys are raising our future generations. You guys are creating families that create our communities and create our future. So that's why it's so damn important we look after you, because whilst you guys will do just about anything for your kids, the one thing that I've found time and time again is that you find putting your own needs, not even first, even just to consider your own needs, really difficult. And a great example of that is for the mum who's got all of their kids' meals sorted for the week, fully planned out the dinners, made sure that, if you're going out on Wednesday night, you've got all the meals prepped. If hubby's working late, you've got all the dinner sorted out for the family. And then what do you eat? I'm just exhausted, and you end up sort of eating whatever. So that's just one example of you would never send your kid to school without you've got your school lunches sorted out, you've got your shopping list sorted so you can get all the healthy food for the school lunches, and yet you guys will sort of end up eating whatever for lunch because you haven't sort of planned or applied that same amazing organizational skills and love that you have for your kids to your own needs. So that's the one reason why I wanted to clarify about why mums are so damn special and why it's so important for you to look after yourself. So a couple of things. So there's four sort of areas, 4 challenges or focus areas that we've had at Cypher with our training tribe, and I want to clarify that it's not about the training. Let me say it again. It's not about the training. The training is just a guise. It's just a ruse. It's an opportunity to be able to get together with people, which I absolutely love. Yes, in particular, I love training. I feel really rubbish in myself if I don't get to training, and I feel good when I train, and I find that I eat better when I train. And some comments at training have been around, yes, you can just eat better, but people are finding when they're training, then they tend to eat. They tend to want to eat better, or it's a bit more of a motivation for them to eat better as well. So the training and the food obviously go hand in hand, but the training in particular is just a great reason to get together and to meet people and to catch up with people. But that's not the be-all and end-all, particularly when it comes to your health. So there are many things, whether you're pregnant, whether you've just had a baby, whether you're thinking about having a baby, whether you've got kids that are sick at home, whether you've just started back at work and you find that the work and life family commitments are all a bit much and you can't get to training. You don't need to be getting to training to be able to have some amazing results. Remember, health and weight loss in particular is just a good outcome. It's just a byproduct of good health. So the focus for us always is on good health, and your health needs will change depending on your circumstances. So for example, if you're if you're pregnant, your health needs are going to be more around how do I nourish the baby that's growing inside of me, rather than how do I eat for weight loss. So you can see that you're going to have a similar focus on nutrition, but for a really, really different purpose. So your focus can quite quickly change from weight loss to quite importantly to one on how do I nourish my body to sustain a marathon. When we were doing our abnormal psych units, one of the bits I wanted to say earlier was when we did our abnormal psych units, remembering developmental psych, the one most important protective factor was maternal education level. When we did our abnormal psych units, one of the most debilitating, we looked at this you look through these criteria or these symptoms. I'm like, what is that? We look through depression and anxiety and bipolar and all these range of psychological disorders, mental disorders, and you go through and think, oh, there was all of these really horrible symptoms, and then one had a really long list of symptoms, and we're like, what is that? And it was pregnancy. Pregnancy has such a profound impact on your body, your mind, and your mental state, that it had the most comprehensive list of potential side effects and physical effects. So now more than ever, for mums that are pregnant or thinking about having a baby, and if you've just had a baby, it's also that your body's just gone through massive trauma. So your focus would be on repairing and nurturing your body back to pre-baby health. So I wanted to comment on those things. So if you're thinking of having a baby now, pregnant, or you've just had a baby, there's some really important things around. So last week at SciFit we had our focus on Veggies Revenge. And that was about putting all the good stuff in, about putting all the fixing our diets, supercharging our diets, but packing in all the good stuff, all the veggies, all the nutrients that we need. Most of us are nutrient deficient rather, and our diets have lost all their nutrient density. So we're trying to pack in all the good stuff. And if you think of the reasons for that, if you were training for a marathon, you would be wanting to get your body into tip-top shape, and that's what childbirth. That's what childbirth is. It's a marathon 9-month event that you prepare for, which is really just the starting point of then years of wear and tear on your body. So Veggies Revenge Week, we had Stress Week. I spoke earlier this week to some people about the allostatic load, which is a cumulative amount of stress that your body's under, and pregnancy puts an overwhelming load of stress on your body. I remember there was no time. I'd be talking to my wife and she'd be asleep. I was like, what's going on? But she would just come home from work absolutely knackered, because baby was taking all of the nutrients, basically taking every bit of her to grow and sustain the baby. So yeah, again, when we spoke about Stress Week, the allostatic load is something that we really need to be mindful of in terms of how do we manage our stress, our mental stress, the physical stress that our body's under, and how do we help overcome that through the same sorts of ways of nourishing our body through adequate sleep, through hydration, through adequate nutrient intake. So the same kinds of things that we talk about every week in SciFit are the same things that you can do, but just for a particular purpose, depending on where you're at. When we looked at hydration, we know that the blood volume increases substantially to be able to nourish the baby. We know that our bodies are made up primarily of water. So if you were dehydrated, when you're looking at weight loss, you think, well, we know that dehydration has a really strong impact on metabolic so conditioning. So it reduces your metabolic rate when you're dehydrated. So again, being able to stay well hydrated during pregnancy, even more important, because not only are you nourishing yourself, but you're bringing another being into this world. So super important for the hydration. So we've looked at the Veggies Revenge Week. We've looked at the hydration. We've looked at the stress. So then we've had our Lunchbox Legends Week. Why would that be important? Because if one of our good friends who's pregnant at the moment said, "Oh, my baby's hungry," and that's such a simple and effective way of thinking about it, is that my baby needs to eat. So when we did our meal planning week around lunch prep and being a lunchbox legend, It's around how can I sustain myself if I'm still working and I'm pregnant, or I'm still working, or I've had bub and I'm at home. I've had mum say, I just forgot to eat today, or I just didn't get the opportunity to eat today because I was so busy trying to make sure my bub wasn't latching on. They weren't feeding properly. I spent all my time. I didn't even get to go to the toilet today, let alone look after my nutrition for lunch, for example. So you can apply a Lunchbox Legend Week for your own circumstance. So whether that is you're a pregnant mum who's still at work, whether you've just had bub and you're trying to you're at home and you sometimes have those days where things are just so crazy that you don't get to eat, or whether you're a mum that's gone back to work and you're working your guts off trying to get back into that work routine, and you're finding that lunch just goes by the by and you sort of miss out, then again your body's not being adequately nourished for its needs. So that were the 4 things that I wanted to say there: the Lunchbox Legends, the hydration, the veggies revenge, and the managing your stress. Those 4 things that we've done in our group. We tend to look at those for weight loss because that's often why people come to training, but those things are equally important whether you're, especially important if you're thinking of having a bub, even more important if you happen to be pregnant, and equally important if you have just had a bub and you've got a kid who's say 1 or 2 years old, because that's just such an intensive time on your mind and your body, and your body's also just gone through a major trauma. So think about how you can apply those 4 challenges, those 4 topics, those 4 areas, or 4 pillars of health to where you're at in your life at the moment. So let me know, comment below. I'd love to hear more about how I can serve you. Thank you for watching. All right, take care.